All right, prove the identity, number 9. Same deal. Start with the more complicated side. And I'd say the right side this time is the more complicated side. It's got the fraction, it's got an ugly denominator, so we'll start off with that. So we've got sine x over 1 minus cosine x. Okay, and anytime you have an ugly denominator like this with two terms in it, okay, so plus or minus within the denominator, the trick you can use is multiply by its conjugate. In most cases, that's going to clean things up. So I'm going to take the sine of x over 1 minus cosine x, and I'm going to multiply that by a 1 plus cosine x over 1 plus cosine x. Okay, and let's multiply that out and see what happens. Okay, numerator first, distributing sine times 1 will give me a sine x, and sine times cosine we'll say is a plus sine x cosine x. Okay, over denominator then we FOIL, but since we're talking conjugates we can take a shortcut. I'm going to multiply my first. 1 times 1 would be a 1. Okay, my outer will give me a cosine x, my inner will give me a negative cosine x. Those will cancel, so I'm going to just jump straight to negative cosine times cosine will give me a negative cosine squared x. Okay, now we've seen this one already. Do some scratch work on the side anyways. I know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. That's Pythagorean identity. When you see squared stuff plus 1, squared stuff minus 1, think Pythagorean identities. I'm going to subtract cosine squared x from both sides of this equation. And that's going to give me sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x. So I can rewrite this as sine x plus sine x cosine x, all right, over sine squared x. Okay, and then from here, since I have sines in both terms on top, I can cancel those sines out with the sine squared on the bottom, leaving me with a 1 plus cosine x over sine x. And that part's a little tricky. Both signs here don't cancel. Okay, it's canceling with the single sign on top and bottom. Might not be a bad idea to rewrite that maybe in a factored form. We could say sine of x times 1 plus cosine x over sine squared x. Okay, I think there it's maybe a little more clear to see that I will still have a single sine x on the bottom. Not everything cancels. Okay, so anyway, we're to this point, and I'm going to say from here we're done. We want a cotangent. Well, cosine over sine is cotangent. I take that back. We'll do one more step. We'll split this fraction in a different order. Plus, we want a cosecant, which is 1 over sine. All right, so one more step. There's our cotangent x. There's our cosecant x. There's our proof.